Today we're going to talk a little bit about sharpening your knives. One of the most important things for having knives in the kitchen is making sure they're always sharp. Very, very, very important. A sharp knife is a safe knife. So along with holding the knife properly that we talked about already is keeping your knife sharp. And there's a lot of different techniques for that. I'm going to show you a couple today, a couple different ways to keep your knife sharp so you don't have to take it to the local butcher or somewhere where they're going to have to grind it, because knives can be very expensive and you want to maintain your own knife. So I'll just jump right into a couple different steps here. This is kind of cool because this is made out of carbide, and carbide is very similar as far as fixing the edge of a knife as stone. So the beauty of this versus this is that this is a preset angle already. With a stone, it requires quite a lot of practice to get, for a good chef knife, you want about 22-degree angle. So that's about like that. And you want to keep a nice consistent level as you run across that stone. Where this already presets that. And you see a variety of knife sharpeners like this that you can pull through. Don't get the electric ones that are just going to grind. This you can control, and you just pull the knife through. You can feel the friction as the knife works its way through. And so that is only done this with the stone or the carbide, maybe once every few months, or maybe even twice a year if you're using your knife and keeping it sharp on a regular basis. So this is kind of cool because this has stage 2, which is really a diamond steel. So this again is a preset 22-degree angle, and you just pull the knife through like so. So now we're going to set the knife down. We're going to go to stage 3, and that is with a steel. And this is again a preset 22-degree angle. And again, I'm just going to pull the knife through in kind of this nice smooth motion. I'm just following the edge of the knife all the way to the tip. It's really important to go from the very back all the way to the tip when you're sharpening your knife. So that can be done with this, or most people have a steel. And so the way I was taught to use a steel is, unlike sometimes you see people will actually use a steel in this motion, in an outward motion. There's 2 methods, and a lot of times you see people come forward towards themselves. And I was always taught that in order for the knife to be properly sharpened, you actually want to pull the edge of the knife out versus pushing it in. So by doing this, you're actually elongating the really microscopic saw teeth that are on the end of that knife. So you're pulling the edge out with this steel, like so. And if you do this, pretty much every time you cook or every other time you cook, you're not gonna have to go back and use the diamond or the carbide, and you're gonna keep yourself a really sharp edge. So now that I've sharpened my knife, I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm going to always make sure that I have a rag or a paper towel to clean the knife off, because you can kind of see how the knife has left from the sharpening. There's little pieces of metal, so I always want to make sure that I clean the knife really good after I sharpen it. And then, just to give you an example of how sharp this knife is, it will cut through a tomato like that, and this is a pretty soft tomato, so it's super nice to have a sharp knife in the kitchen. I've shown you how to sharpen the knife and how to slice a tomato with a super sharp knife. This knife I just got out of the drawer, not quite as sharp. So with this knife, it just can't slice right through it. I actually have to use a sawing motion, which can tend to squish the tomato if it's super soft. And it takes quite a lot longer to work your way through a knife like this with a sawing motion versus just having a sharp knife to begin with.